Hey there, fellow mythology nerds and casual internet wanderers. Welcome to Mythic Lounge, the place where legends come to chill, so don't forget to click that subscribe button and the notification bell. Across the misty hills of Ireland and the ancient forests of Britain, there once lived a people whose stories were as wild and untamed as the lands they called home. The Celts, fierce warriors and skilled artisans, spun a world of myth where gods walked among mortals. Heroes battled terrifying beasts, and the line between this world and the next was thinner than a whisper. Their myths were never meant to be written in books or locked away in temples. They lived in the fireside tales, the sacred groves, and the songs that echoed across green valleys for generations. Today, we journey into the heart of Celtic mythology and uncover the wonders that still inspire fantasy, magic, and legend. Celtic mythology is not a single, neat storybook. It's a sprawling, tangled web of traditions from different Celtic tribes across Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and beyond. Unlike the myths of the Greeks or Romans, there was no centralized version. Each tribe had its own heroes, its own gods, and its own version of how the world worked. But some names, some ideas, became larger than life. At the center of many stories stands the Otherworld, a mysterious parallel realm where powerful beings lived. It wasn't a place of punishment or reward, like the Christian heaven or hell. Instead, it was a land of beauty, eternal youth, feasting, and endless adventure. Sometimes it was across the sea, sometimes underground, sometimes hidden within mists. Mortals could stumble into it by accident or be lured in by magical beings. And once you entered, you might never come back the same. One of the most famous groups of beings from the Otherworld were the Tuatha Dé Danann, the people of the goddess Danu. They were said to have arrived in Ireland on dark clouds, bringing with them incredible knowledge and magical treasures. They wielded artifacts like the Sword of Light, the Spear of Victory, the Cauldron of Plenty, and the Stone of Destiny, each item capable of changing the fate of men and kings. The Tuatha Dé Danann were gods of craftsmanship, war, healing, and sorcery. But after their defeat by mortal men, they faded into the mists, becoming the fairies and spirits of later Irish folklore. Heroes were just as important as gods in Celtic mythology. Figures like Cú Chulainn, the Hound of Ulster, captured the imagination of countless generations. Gifted with superhuman strength and a terrifying battle frenzy known as the Riastrad, Cú Chulainn defended his people almost single-handedly during the epic cattle raid of Cooley. Stories tell of him transforming into an unrecognizable monster during battle, eyes spinning in his head, hair standing on end, and his body twisting into grotesque shapes fueled by divine rage. Women, too, held powerful roles in Celtic myths, far more than in many other ancient cultures. Goddesses like Morrigan, the phantom queen of war and fate, appeared on battlefields to foretell doom or to influence the outcome of wars. She was a shapeshifter, often taking the form of a crow, circling the dying warriors. Another beloved figure is Bridget, goddess of poetry, healing, and smithcraft, who later became Saint Bridget in Christian traditions, showing just how deeply the old beliefs wove themselves into new religions. Celtic mythology wasn't only about great battles and heroic deeds. It was deeply tied to nature. Trees, rivers, stones, and animals were sacred. The oak, ash, and thorn were especially important, and disturbing a fairy tree was believed to bring terrible luck. Animals like the stag, the boar, and the raven carried deep symbolic meaning, often serving as messengers from the Otherworld. Another haunting element of Celtic lore is the concept of Samhain, the festival marking the end of the harvest and the beginning of winter. It was believed that during Samhain, the veil between the mortal world and the otherworld grew thin. Spirits could cross over. The dead could visit the living. It wasn't about fear. It was about respect, remembrance, and survival. Over time, these ancient traditions evolved into what we now know as Halloween. But what makes Celtic mythology so mesmerizing even today? Maybe it's because it refuses to draw strict lines between good and evil. Gods could be cruel and heroes could be flawed. Monsters weren't always wicked, and beauty could hide danger. The myths celebrate life in all its messy, chaotic glory. They remind us that magic can exist anywhere, in the wildness of a storm, the hush of an ancient forest, or the shimmer of moonlight on water. Celtic myths continue to inspire countless stories today, from fantasy novels to blockbuster movies. They remind us of a time when the world was alive with mystery, and every shadow in the woods might be a doorway to another world. What part of Celtic mythology do you find the most fascinating? Let me know in the comments below. And if you love diving into the forgotten worlds of myth, magic, and mystery, don't forget to subscribe and join us on this endless journey through the legends that shaped our imagination. There's so much more waiting to be discovered. If you enjoyed this dive into the mystical world of Freya and her cats, hit that like button like it's a magical trigger. Subscribe for more deep dives into the gods, monsters, and myths that shaped our world, and maybe your next character.